My name is Leo Bai, and today I'll be talking about some concepts I learned in Python Programming 2 this year. The first concept I'd like to talk about is I/O operators. So I've created a sample piece of code that opens a file, reads it, and then closes it. Here at point 1, you can see that I imported strError from OS. This can help me catch any errors in my code. At point 2, I opened the file text.txt and then I read that file. And then at point 3, I closed the file using the .close method. So in between the opening and closing the file, I also did add code which counts the number of characters in that file. And here, this print statement prints out the number of characters in the file. And at point 4, there's an exception. This is for just in case like there is an error in my code when I'm opening the file. So if there's an error, it'll print out IO error occurred. At first, when I was making this code, I kept on getting the IO error occurred, and I didn't know why. And then I realized I didn't have a file called text.txt. So I made a file called text.txt, and I typed in the file, "Good morning, Dr. Mitchell." So basically, after that, everything worked out, and here's the output of the code down here. "Good morning, Dr. Mitchell," and it has 25 characters in it. The next topic I want to talk about is exceptions. I created a sample piece of code using try and except statements. So here at point 1, I used a try statement to start off my code. And then at point 2, I tried 1 divided by 0, which obviously will have an error. And that's why I have exception statements down below. So at point 3, I had a value error. And basically, if it is a value error, if the code above is a value error, then it will print 1 cannot be divided by 0. At point 4, I had a 0 division error, which basically means if the code above is a 0 division error, then it will print it is undefined if divided by 0. So when I was first making this code, I got an error because at first I only had the value error exception. So it gave me an error because 1 divided by 0 is not a value error, and that's why I added the 0 division error exception. So now the code runs smoothly and it prints out it is undefined if divided by 0. So the next topic I want to talk about is polymorphism. So in this sample code, there's 1 superclass of dog and 2 subclasses of dog. So here you can see I created a class called dog, and then basically this class returns the breed of the dog, and it also returns the string says wolf. Here at point 2, I created a class called sheepdog, which returns the string "Don't run away, little lamb." At point 3, I made another class called guard dog, and in guard dog it returns the string "Stay where you are, Mr. Intruder." After that, I made 2 dogs, Rocky and Luna, and here at point 4, I print Rocky and Luna. Rocky will print "Collie says wolf, don't run away, little lamb." This is because Rocky is a collie, and in the dog class it says it returns the breed and then says wolf. That's why it says collie says wolf. And then since Rocky is a sheepdog, it takes that sheepdog string. That's why it says "Don't run away, little lamb." For Luna, it will print "Doberman says wolf, stay where you are, Mr. Intruder." As I said before, this is because Luna is a Doberman, and in the dog class, it says it returns the breed as well as this string right here. That's why it says Doberman says wolf. And then since Luna is a guard dog, it returns the guard dog string, which is "Stay where you are, Mr. Intruder." So at first when I was making this code, I had some errors. I realized it was because I forgot to indent some things. For example, I forgot to indent this self.breed part in the dog class, and I also forgot to indent the return in the sheepdog class, and that really messed up my code. But then after I realized I had to indent that, my code ran smoothly. Lastly, I'd like to talk about Lambda. So in this sample code, I created a function and I used Lambda in it. So here at point 1, I created my function myfunc with the parameter n. So here I use Lambda, and basically it just becomes a times n. So and then I made a thing called doubler, which is equal to myfunc, and n is equal to 2. At point 4, I printed doubler 8. So basically what this code means is that 2 goes in for n, because myfunc 2, myfunc n, so 2 goes in for n, and then doubler 8, the 8 goes in for a, so it becomes 8 times 2, which is equal to 16. And as you can see, this is what it prints that, like, down there. So at first when I was creating this code, I thought that return lambda a colon, I thought you had to move a times n to the next line and indent that, because that's what you usually do after a colon. And once I realized that's not what you actually do, and I did it right, the code ran smoothly. So thank you for listening to my Python presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me.